Hello and welcome to another live post-game edition of the Nittany Dispatch. I am John Sauber, Penn State beat writer at the Center Daily Times. She's Audrey Snyder doing the same at InsideTheLines.substack.com. And Audrey, it is such a familiar place that we're in right now, right? Like it feels.
Yeah, we're in Beaver Stadium still.
Yeah, but I mean
Yeah.
the way this all happened, it's for whatever it's worth. If you're listening after the fact, it is 1:45 in the morning. So please do not hold us liable for the things we're about to say. But no, this feels like all of it feels so familiar. The heartbreak for fans, the frustration, the jeering at James Franklin, like all of it. It feels like it's Groundhog Day, right? Like that we're in this spot again. I can't imagine how the fans feel right now about it.
Yeah. Penn State loses 30-24 in double overtime. The offense absolutely abysmal in the first half.
I think that is being kind, honestly, somehow.
69 yards total offense in the first half. One of the highest paid coordinators in the country. Your elite quarterback, who is a senior, coming off a bye week too, John. Don't forget that. They had 2 weeks to prepare for this, but really we could make the argument that they had all off season because of the cupcake schedule to prepare for this. And Penn State rolls that out there. And again, the familiarity of all of this is wild, right? Like, your defense is good enough. Your defense is really, really good.
It's elite.
It has been under James Franklin's tenure. It doesn't matter the coordinator, seemingly. It doesn't matter if it's Ohio State, if it's Michigan, if it's Oregon, that's now beaten Penn State twice in the past 9 months. James Franklin is 4-21 versus teams in the AP top 10. I mean, I don't know how you slice it. And like, literally, I'm sitting here. I think I've written the same story 20 times.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's different now, but I just felt, John, when Penn State comes back in the fourth quarter, right, down 17-3, 14 points, in my head, I thought for a split second, maybe this will be different. And I thought, if it isn't different, boy, are they really going to find another way to just completely gut this fan base. And they did. And I don't know where we start. Like, how long do we go tonight? Where do we start? I don't know.
Yeah. I think obviously we got to start with the offense. That, like, in part because I think the defense, I don't know. I feel like they reaffirmed what I thought about them, and that I think this is the best defense in the country. I don't know that people understand how good Will Stein is as an offensive coordinator at Oregon, or how good this Oregon offense is. And they scored 3 points in the first half, despite mostly having the ball in the first half. They dominated possession. They consistently got the ball back from Penn State's offense without much effort, because Penn State's offense was, as you said, abysmal. And yet the defense still held firm. Yes, it broke down a little late, but 17 points in regulation against Oregon is a fantastic performance. It is an elite performance. And you can, have the issues with the overtime. I understand that. Like, it's tough, and that's not great. But the issues tonight were entirely the offense. And the issues tonight are Drew Allar. The offensive line is not nearly as good as it was supposed to be, as we all thought it would be. Andy Kotelnicki is not performing well and is not coaching and not calling games as well as we saw him last year. James Franklin made too many in-game management decisions that were incorrect. And I thought there were two main ones, but I thought they were both really egregiously wrong. I just, like, there were so many ways this team could have won this game, and the offense failed it pretty much at every turn until it was kind of too late, right? Like, by the time the offense put its foot in the ground and said they're going to stand up and do something about it, the defense looked exhausted. They looked like they had played the majority of the game because the offense kept giving the ball back to Oregon so quickly. This might be the worst Penn State offensive performance that I can remember. Right? Like, it was abysmal.
Gosh, yeah. I mean, it's got to be up there with Ohio State the last couple times, right, where they couldn't even pick up a first down. I think about those games. The fact that, and at this point, like, you just have to be like, you've seen it all before, right? The fact that the game ends on a Drew Allar pick, where he just simply is trying to get the ball to Luke Reynolds, doesn't see the guy underneath, doesn't put the ball high enough. It's like everything is just more of the same. And I find myself just really, like, at this crossroads with this program because I genuinely do not know what you go like where you go from here, what you do,
Right.
because I know like the gut reaction right from a fan is probably, and we heard it loud and clear in the fourth
Yes.
quarter, which apparently the broadcasts, and I could be wrong, but from what I heard from a few folks, they were like, yeah, we thought we heard this on the broadcast, but we weren't sure. Yes, there were Fire Franklin chants generating from the student section area, but permeating throughout the stadium at the start of the fourth quarter when Penn State's down 17-3.
And this was not like once or twice. This was like 5 or 6 times in a row.
And there were several boos throughout the game. And I was explaining to someone from Oregon who was like flabbergasted at the half. They're like, does the offense get booed all the time? Like, is this normal? And I was like, not all the time, but you will hear this crowd boo. Like, and I explained it to him. I said, this is a fan base that's been waiting a long time for this. And like, they've been sold all these things. It's just really none of it's good enough. And I think that's the end of the day. That's the problem.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. And I think that is, I think the most worrisome part, if you're a Penn State fan, is I don't know where you go from here. It's we talked about James, and you mentioned the firing. Let's say you do that, right? Like, let's say you make that decision. One, it's not going to happen. You're so at risk of, for lack of a better phrase, Poliniing yourself, like however we want to change that word, and going from consistent 10-win team to Nebraska can't find its way back, right? Because they got rid of Bo Pelini because he was consistently winning 9 games and couldn't do better than that. 8-9 games couldn't do better than that, right? Like, that's a real risk. Like, this is not. I know Penn State fans want this program to be much more, and frankly, it should, especially this year. This team is way too talented to be. This offense is way too talented to lose this game for the entire team, right? Like, we saw the defense dominate, and we saw the defense dominate for 3 quarters and 13 minutes or whatever, right? And we saw the offense play well for 3 drives, and that's it. And it's inexcusable. And we talk about, I think we have to talk about Allar at this point. Like, he was a former 5-star quarterback. He's clearly never going to reach that ceiling with Penn State. Like, maybe it clicks in the NFL, he gets with the right development. It's not going to happen here. And I think that's a tough pill to swallow, that you have this 4th-year quarterback who's a 3rd-year starter, and the ceiling is not what you wanted it to be, and now you're kind of stuck, right? And you have this elite defensive coordinator, a very creative offensive coordinator, and I know people have a lot of issues with Andy Kotelnicki. I have issues with plays he called tonight, but generally speaking, I think he's a really good coordinator. I'm starting to believe more of this would be a lot better of an offense with a more mobile quarterback. I'm not going to say that they should have kept Bo Prabula, because I just think that was like, it's so tough to have that conversation, because it was never a conversation at the time. They were not saying, Drew, you should leave, Bo, stay, right? It was just not going to happen. It was not in a million years. So you can't say they should have done this, they should have done that, because it was just never an option. Like, it was never a realistic option. And so I think, I don't know. This where I feel for fans. Like, I don't know, usually, we watch these games. It's like, okay, you saw X, Y, and Z. Like, there's plenty of reason for optimism. And look, this team's going to probably make the playoff. We're all going to pick them to lose at Ohio State, and probably by more than we would have heading into tonight. But otherwise, they should go 10-2. And they should beat Indiana, and they should beat Iowa, even though those teams are good. Like, it just feels like it's going to happen again, though, right? They're going to go 10-2. Maybe they win a first-round playoff game. Who did they beat, John?
That's going to be, like, it's the same.
They're an 11 seed. They lose, or they beat a 6 seed. That's not that great. And lose in the second round. And then
and that's just the baffling part. And again, like, I've written about this team for a long time, so like, I understand the fans' frustrations with it. Because it's just like, I'm tired of writing the same story. I mean, literally, like, it is, like you hit on, your quarterback is not who you thought he was or you hoped he would be. It's not good enough. And it's baffling to me. And I got into this in my gut reactions on Inside the Lions, and boy, was that fun to write tonight.
Yeah.
Gut reactions at the gun when this thing is going topsy-turvy in the fourth quarter and double overtime, all that. So that was a good experience for me. A nice deadline pressure, sprinting down the stairs, all of that.
To be fair, the only deadline you have is the one that you self-impose.
That's right, but it's a tight one. I was hit and publish as James Franklin was talking. But when you look at just all of these things that we thought, right? All of the tick marks for this program, the ways in which the offense is going to get better. The second year with Andy Kotelnicki, the Drew Allar senior year, they're bringing everybody back. They're, going to kind of do it one last time. This is it. It's all good for this year. You get your whiteout game. You get it at night. You get the elite opponent.
Everything in their favor for this.
I don't know, John. You get the second largest crowd in Beaver Stadium history. 111,000 and I got 111,015.
Yeah, I was going to say I was not listening when that was announced. So
yeah, there were some other things going on with the game at that point. But you get all of this, and it seemingly doesn't matter, right? Like it's just the same old, and it really took this offense hitting rock bottom with the Fire Franklin chance for them to come out, and then quick strike, Devontae Ross touchdown. You come back, Drew Allar looked good on that game-tying drive, right? The third down play, 3rd and 9, I believe it was, which James Franklin said, I have to go back and look at this, but he post-game said, I think that we were 3rd and 9 pretty much all game. That was the average distance. Which
I think you was talking about the first half specifically.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, the first.
He was right.
Yes, yeah, and again, not good. But the fact that to me, Allar looks better often when he's under duress and everything's going wrong.
Yeah.
And looks worse when it's okay, he has time and there's a wide open receiver.
Throw. Yeah.
I can't figure that out.
He was missing everything behind guys tonight. Luke Reynolds, 3 different times he overthrew him, and Reynolds had to try and make a play on the ball. I've seen people call them drops. It's kind of unfair to expect those guys to haul all those in, especially the ones that were behind them. There were so many passes behind guys. It's year 3 as a starter, year 4 at Penn State, and he's not throwing with anticipation still. That's a problem. You can't just throw everything as hard as you can and try and have that be the result. And I'll eat crow on it. I was wrong. I thought Drew was going to take a step this year. I thought even after the first 3 games, there was a chance that he would be even better. That he would take a step tonight, because it's okay, now the lights are on, everyone's kind of at full go. But instead, it was the same thing. It is the same Drew Allar we've seen this entire time. He was not good enough for his team to win. He was not good enough for his team to score, which is obviously a problem in its own right. And he misses too many throws. He's too indecisive at times. And yes, he works through progression. Yes, he's a fantastic arm strength. Yes, he makes some of these obscene out of
some of the off-platform throws were wild. Yeah.
There was one he was running completely against his body early in the game that I have no idea how he got enough velocity on the ball. And he still threw that one behind Nick Singleton, but Singleton ended up catching it. I just I don't know that, and there's no answer, by the way. This is it for Penn State this year. Drew Allar is going to be the starting quarterback as long as he's healthy, and he should be, because he is clearly the best quarterback on the roster. It's just the ceiling is now probably lower for this team. I can't imagine them winning a national title right now, right? I can't imagine them making the national title game right now. They have, and what's so clear is they have the defense to do it. They have the defense to choke out everyone they play. I still can't believe how good this defense was, and the offense did nothing with it. They did nothing with it. The defense kept getting them the ball back, and the offense kept saying, no thanks, we'll pass, and then gave it right back to Oregon. It was unbelievable.
We'll pass, but we won't be accurate. We're just going to actually pass it off.
We'll pass, but it will fall on the ground.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of the complaints, and I understand that about Andy Kotelnicki and some of these cutesy looks and things, and that's the offense, right? That's what they're going to do. But it's also
a part of football now. A lot of places, a lot of really good offenses do this. This is, I don't think them doing extra motion and shifts is making the offense bad. I think what's making the offense bad is the quarterback can't complete passes to his receivers.
Yeah, and it is troublesome. And, we can have we brought this up on the pregame show, right? If Penn State goes 10-2 and beats Indiana, gets in the playoff, we're going to come back to the same old. Well, the way the offense played in the first half, they ain't beating Indiana if they look like that. No. Maybe. No. Maybe, but probably not.
They might not score on Iowa.
If you get back to what we saw in the fourth quarter, right? If you can get to that, that's what's so weird. Yes, John, I think we can now say that the concerns we all voiced in non-conference play are validated with this offense.
Yep.
there are massive problems with this offense that are going to take some time to dissect. And the good news is that you got to go out to UCLA and you play Northwestern. So
They have 2 bye weeks before Iowa, essentially.
yes, you got more time to figure this out against inferior competition.
Right.
But I just don't know.
If they do it, who's going to believe them? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
If they turn around, like, why should we believe them? You know what I mean? Why should we believe that? Like, it's going to have to be like, it can't just be the numbers look better. It has to be like there's a real fundamental change with this offense. Otherwise, we'll all just be like, yeah, sure. But what happens when they play Ohio State, or what happens when they play Iowa?
And the thing that struck me, and again, I was down on the field, when Drew Allar throws that pick, and man, you could just hear a pin drop in this crowd. It was insane.
It was he threw it at me. Like, the ball was heading to me.
Were you the intended receiver?
I think I might have been.
You might have been, yeah. It's because you're wearing red. He's like, oh, right. This must be like an Ohio State. Oh, wait, no, that's not.
Yeah, right. But no, it was so crazy. Thieneman, apologize to Dylan for mispronouncing his name.
He's probably not listening. They're on their 12-hour. Yeah. These guys had to fly across the country, stay in Altoona, do all these things. Didn't bother them.
Oregon safety catches that interception, and then it took me a second to process, like, oh, it's over. And you know what I mean? And you said you could hear a pin drop. It was dead silent for probably 3 or 4 seconds, and then the boos started coming down, and the jeering started happening. And Allar stood there in disbelief, and you feel for him. Like, he's obviously not trying to make that mistake, but it's like at some point, like, you are what you are as a quarterback. And it's not like, and we need to talk about the running game too, right? Because this is, it is so clear that Kaytron Allen's the better running back between the two of him and Nick Singleton. I thought Singleton actually had some pretty good hard runs early. There were
some flashes.
There was a third down early. I think it was like 3rd and 16 where he gained 14 yards because he was just violently pushing through contact. I thought that was really good, and it was a positive sign. But then pretty much every run, it was 2 yards and not much else, which, by the way, is more than he averaged in the game. So I guess I can't even say that it was 2 yards. It was bad. Like, Nick Singleton is really talented. Height, weight, speed, freak, like, unbelievable in the open field. He's not getting to the open field right now. Kaytron Allen is finding space. He's creating yards after contact. He's creating openings. It's so clear that he is their better running back. He should be their starting running back, and Nick Singleton should be.
Well, I believe he did get the start today.
Yes, but I mean this, like the
featured premier, get him the ball most. Yeah.
So tonight, Kaytron had 12 rushing attempts. Nick Singleton had 11. Singleton had 4 targets. Kaytron Allen had 2. So essentially, they tried to get the ball to Kaytron Allen. Math is hard. 14 times, and Singleton 15 times. Not only should that not be in Singleton's favor, I think it should be closer to 70-30 split at this point until Northwestern and UCLA, whatever. Like, it won't matter as much. But Iowa, Ohio State, Kaytron Allen puts you in a better position to win. He gives you a better chance to succeed offensively. And to me, that's all that should matter right now. And it's unfortunate for Singleton, who's been awesome for, the first 3 years of his career and has always been fantastic with us too. And he's putting the work in, but it's clearly not happening right now. And they need a running back that is going to consistently get them yardage, especially if this offense is going to look like this and Allar's not going to hit on all of his throws. And that's what's happening. And so they need to rely on Kaytron Allen, who is their best offensive player probably right now.
Yeah. I mean, Devontae Ross gives you some juice. You have some of that.
By the way, a little too much force feeding of Luke Reynolds tonight. I thought, tried to make that a thing. And 6 targets led the team, only 1 catch for 9 yards. A lot of those were off target. I'm not blaming Reynolds, but they have these receivers who have Devontae Ross needed more than 4 touches. That's not enough, especially when you play a team like Oregon with that much team speed. You need to be able to stretch the field yourself.
Yeah, I genuinely do not know, because again, there was no rhythm, which has been a theme. What they were trying to do in that first half, to me, it's everything was so disjointed that you're just there's a throw off the mark. Oh, there's a run for a yard or 2. Oh, okay. Time to punt. There was no
Well,
It was bizarre. Like that first half was downright ugly.
and the rhythm is a lot on Andy Kotelnicki, but I think it's also a lot on Allar. Like, at what point is he not in a rhythm just because he's not hitting these throws? Like, we'd all be talking about how he was in a rhythm if he hit Luke Reynolds between the numbers or led him into space rather than throwing it behind him, or hit guys on the move rather than, again, throwing behind. Like, he's not in a rhythm because he's just missing the throws. Like, that's it. Like, we would be talking about the way this game is called differently. And I took issue with plenty of Andy Kotelnicki's play calls. I actually didn't hate the draw on third down, the 3rd and 8, the fake toss QB draw. I didn't hate that because I think that's a try to get 4 yards and go for it play. But you have to go for it on 4th down there. And these are the other two things that I want to talk about.
I was going to say
the in-game decisions, like, inexcusable. I asked about James about the post game. He said essentially, so the first one I asked about was the 4th and 8, that sequence I'm talking about with the fake toss draw that Drew ran, didn't get any yards. But then they punted from Oregon's 36-yard line on 4th and 8. They punted from Oregon's 36-yard line. Gabe Mosu sends it in the end zone, so they gain 16 yards rather than having a chance to keep possession in Oregon territory and try and score a touchdown. Dan Lanning went for it over and over and over and over again. He played to win. Period. James Franklin, in that moment, and there were other times where he made the right calls, they went for it when they should, but in that moment, in a crucial moment, he was playing not to lose. He was playing not to get burnt by Oregon's offense, an offense that the defense was stifling no matter where it started its drives. So you have this situation now where Oregon immediately only is 16 yards further back than they would have been had you just gone for it and failed to get it. By the way, everyone who says that you shouldn't go for it there because you could give the ball back to Oregon on 36, or you can keep the ball, you can convert, you can maintain possession and try to score. That's what drives me nuts about it. But then you immediately get
I can tell you're mad.
In-game management, like any coach, you've seen it before. I lose my mind with bad in-game decisions. And then it gets worse because Dante Moore makes an incredible throw after Dennis Sutton was blatantly held and they didn't call it. Denai was asked about being held tonight, and he did a good job of being pretty sort of down the middle about it, but said it was, it's bad when they actually call them, like when they've called a couple of them in the game. But the second decision, and I know I'm going off the rails here, but the second decision, after they score that touchdown to make it 17-9, James Franklin needs to go for 2 there. A lot of coaches do this now. I know not everybody agrees with it. It gives you a better chance of winning in regulation, and it played out exactly how you would want it to had you gone for 2 there. Because if you go for 2 there and you get it, that next touchdown, that 17 to get to 17, that 6 gets you to 17, then you kick an extra point and you're winning 18-17 with 50 seconds left, and all you need to do is what your defense has done all game, and that's stop Oregon's offense. If you don't get it, you can go for 2 again and still have the opportunity to tie it. But the upside of going for 2 the first time is so high. They could have won this game in regulation. I'm not saying they would have gotten the 2-point conversion, but Allar was finally playing well. They were doing things well. You keep them on the field, try and get 2 more yards after you just walk down the field for whatever it was, 70-some yards. And instead, you make the incorrect decision. You kick the extra point, and instead of having a chance to win it in regulation, you go to overtime. And to me, that is the decision that lost them the game, because they have that chance to go for 2 early, and I think they would have had a good chance of getting it based on how they had played that entire drive. And instead, they turtled up.
It's not like we saw them put a bunch of 2-point conversion attempts on film during non-conference play. That was
right. Like if you're gonna do that, if you want to make Oregon study all these things, then why not go out there and do a counter, or like have some type of counter off of that? It was unbelievable. I don't know. It was
so unbelievable that it was believable.
Yeah, right. It was exactly how this always seems to go. But like this offense was entirely brutal, and it still had a chance if they just made the right decisions. But at the end of the day, like, this is on Franklin for those decisions. This is on Kotelnicki for the poorly called first half. This is on Drew for not being good enough at quarterback. And it's on Nick Singleton for not being good enough at running back. It's on the offensive line for not being good enough at creating a pocket for Drew or creating enough rushing lanes. Like, it was pretty much a disaster on offense.
John, here's a thought that I just had after 2 a.m. Oh, the boys are going to go over well. I can sense it already. But
by the way, I do appreciate if anyone is listening to this while they're in traffic, because I looked out there and it is bad. Like, it is bumper to bumper out there.
Welcome to Happy Valley, where you get to see your team get
Oh,
absolutely gut punched again. And hey, don't
sit in
forget you
traffic
get to
for
sit
3
in
hours.
traffic on the way out, right? Nothing like it.
We might be
Um,
sitting in traffic still by the time we leave.
Gosh,
I am worried about that.
I hope not. The where I was going with this about all these things, right? You see the QR codes for give to this, give to
Oh
that.
God.
Can people give a little bit of money back after a performance like this from the offense? Like, can you just say, like, you know what? None of this was good enough. And this is just a theme with this program. And this is the part that I don't know what you do, right? It's like you spent all the money on Andy Kotelnicki. Cool, right? Drew Allar, you bring him in, not what you thought. James Franklin, the contract is what it is. I don't know how you get better as a program. Like, I don't think, like, you're not going to fire him. You can't.
No.
You also
And I honestly,
again, like, look at the success, look at the body of work. Like, you're always going to be in the hunt, but are you actually going to win? And that's the part where I'm just like, I do not know, genuinely do not know what you do with this program when, hey, you're probably always gonna be in the hunt. You're gonna be in the playoff quite a few times, but can you actually do any damage once you're in? Right? Like, I'm not seeing it.
I mean, they can. They did last year until they didn't, right? Like, and it's
Right,
because
but
they
then
came
we're
up
gonna make
short
the
in those
argument of,
runs.
they had the most
Right.
favorable path and
Exactly.
all. I
Yeah.
mean, it's
No.
tough. Like, God, I don't know. I mean, I just think
I
you
think
look at that and I don't know.
I think the answer is you ride it out with Franklin because he
Yeah,
is
you
the
have to.
best option right now.
Yep.
And you go in, and I hate to like be looking at next year already, but I've had this conversation on the spot before, so it won't surprise anyone. Like, you go into the portal this offseason and you try and find a true difference maker quarterback. Like, go find like one of the best quarterbacks in the country, because Drew Allar will be gone, and I think you would probably agree he's an above average starting quarterback, but that's kind of
Yeah.
it. Like, the ceiling is for the highs and the lows, like how quickly he oscillates between being awesome to being terrible makes him just slightly above average, essentially. And so you stick with James Franklin. You try and go get a quarterback that maybe fits Kotelnicki's offense if he's still here. If he's not, which I know people will say, like, oh, Andy Kotelnicki's not going to get a head coaching job now after this. Like, ADs hire coaches based off of like recommendations and interviews more than they do actual film. Like, they're, spoiler alert, most athletic directors aren't going to go back and watch Penn State, Oregon to see if they should hire Andy Kotelnicki. That's just not how they handle those processes. It never has been. But like, I think you go in, you try and get that difference maker quarterback and hope that the easy schedule next year helps you out. And that's it. Like, because who knows? Maybe they somehow upset Ohio State and Columbus. And right now it would be a massive upset. And maybe they make a run or whatever. But right now it's like, all right, this is about to be 2024 all over again. And maybe without the semifinal appearance.
Yeah, and you know what, John? If they're gonna have to go out and get a quarterback, they got to get those QR codes back up on the jumbotron, because you're gonna need it.
Well, but
right?
they have the revenue sharing money, right? And all of this money is coming
Yep.
off the books. And I know I'm talking about like it's a salary cap. It basically sort of is. Like all these guys that are leaving, like all that money comes off the books, and you can reinvest that money elsewhere. And they need to reinvest it into a quarterback. It is what it is. Real quick, before we get too much further into this, we should probably talk about our good friends at DraftKings and Roback, if that sounds good to you. So it's 2 a.m, and this is.
I was ready to send you a note about that, John.
Yeah, it's late.
Well, it looks like you are wearing Roback. I think I see double Roback.
No, triple. The hat, the hoodie, and the shorts today.
Would you like to stand up, John, and show our friends your short? No,
I'm not going to do that.
Our good friends at Roback, if you use code TND20, that's TND20 as the Nittany Dispatch 20, you can save 20% off of your first purchase at Roback. John is pretty much a brand ambassador, despite wearing pink, red.
This is red.
I
do have a pink Roback hoodie for what it's worth. I just didn't wear it today.
See, he's got it in every color. That's how much he supports it. Actually, I was wearing Roback yesterday. Had a nice little bonfire sitting outside. Simpler times. Just thinking, maybe we'll write something different today about a Penn State win. Not the case, but I felt comfortable. John, I'm sure you're comfortable as you do your work today. So our good friends at Robeck, you can use code TND20 to save 20% off your first purchase.
The rivalries, the marching bands, the upsets. Saturdays just got way more fun. College football is back. Think you know the game? Put your knowledge to the test with DraftKings Sportsbook and turn your picks into big payouts. With live betting, rivalry week odds boosts, I trip up on that every single time. And more. DraftKings Sportsbook has everything you need to own every Saturday. That includes futures on who you think is going to win the Big Ten. And I am going to guess where that money may be headed post game this week, or following this action. But here's something special for first timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code DISPATCH. That's code DISPATCH for new customers. Get $300 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccbg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. Fees may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
John, do you think it's going to get, this might get bleak for a second here.
It's been pretty bleak for 31 minutes. So
yeah, welcome to the Nittany Dispatch. It's all bleak here as you sit in traffic, probably. Do you think this team, after what we saw tonight, is capable of making the playoff and winning a game?
Yes, because matchups matter a lot in the playoff. And that's not the answer that anyone wants to hear, but yes. Because they could play, I don't know, and this is what's so tough about this team. We talk about the 5 or 6 best teams in the country, the Oregons, the I guess probably Alabama after they beat Georgia, the Miamis, the Ohio States, that level of team. Do I think they can beat them in the first round? No. Do I think they can beat Indiana in the first round? Yeah. Do I think they can beat Ole Miss in the first round? Maybe. I don't think that this is they are so clearly the 8th best program in the country or whatever. They can beat
that
Texas
second
Tech.
tier, yeah.
They can they're so clearly not elite, but also not they're just sub elite ever so slightly. And so probably they could win 2 rounds if they get the right matchup. You know what I mean? If there's a 5 seed that plays really well, or I don't know. But the point is last year we saw that they can make the semifinal. Were some easy matchups helpful? Yeah, probably. But that's what this program is. They can beat the teams that they should beat. And you can argue, and I think pretty fairly, that Oregon was a team that they should have beaten. They were 3.5-point favorites. Some of that line movement is based on the whiteout too, and the home field advantage in college football, which could be worth about 3 points. But still, I think it would have been fair to call Oregon a team that they should beat. That being said, if you look at the prestige of the program, the type, you know what I mean, where Oregon is usually at, you could argue that Oregon's a tier above, and maybe that we shouldn't have anticipate them beating that level of team, and instead beating up on the SMUs, the whoever else of the world, the second tier college football programs.
So here's my silver lining on tonight.
Oh boy,
yeah, because.
Did you spend the last 33 minutes trying to think of a single silver lining?
No. I had one. Okay. In the gut reactions that hit me as the game went to overtime, and I sprinted down the stairs and thought, okay, my silver lining is that the way this game ended, you're going to say, okay, Penn State lost in double overtime to Oregon. Yeah, sure, it was at home. Yes, you had it served up to you with the crowd, all these things that you should have won this game. At the end of the day, you lost in double overtime in a game in which you played an absolutely abysmal first half for the offense. And the way this game was looking at the start of the fourth quarter, had it been a blowout, would have been worse, right? For potential seeding ramifications down the line, you can kind of slightly gloss a little bit and say, well, okay, in theory, they were close. That's the nicest thing I can say about tonight.
So you can say the same thing that we've all said for years about this program. that they're close, and they've been close. Time,
John, they might have
Ohio
been
State,
a blade of grass away. They might have.
Ohio State in 2017, they were close. Ohio State in 2018, they
Yeah,
were
but
close.
you didn't have 12-team playoff.
Notre Dame in 2024, they were close.
Mhm.
Oregon in 2025, they're close. They're always
Well, they're
close, and I think
close,
that is,
but close in the postseason context.
yeah, for sure. Like, and to be clear, like, I mean, anything can happen in the playoff, right? Like,
Yeah.
they could go on a run and win a national title. I don't see it happening at this point, but like, it's feasible. Yeah, I just think it's tough, especially when you're talking about this fan base, for it to be told repeatedly that it's close, and it's like, okay, but when, right? Like, this fan base seems like one that has been close for too long now. It's brutal, and I feel for Penn State fans.
I
like,
feel really bad for them. I do.
This is a devastating way to lose this game, because they got you, right? Like, Penn State got you. They made you think it was going to happen this time.
They lured you back in. They
right,
could have just let you down easy, and it's
17-3, and it just stays that way.
Shouting to fire the head coach, and like, I mean, they just find new ways to make it even more of a gut punch, and that's the thing. Like, I genuinely feel bad for Penn State fans for repeatedly.
I feel bad
going through this.
I feel bad for the staff that have been through all this, the players that have been through all this, that see it all the time. Like, because
these are human beings.
This is the first time, like, we've seen James Franklin pissed off after these games, right? He gets into it, fans, whatever. He just kind of seemed bummed out. Like there was almost an air of like, well, when's it going to happen even from him, right? Like, it was, and they'll get back on the horse and they'll try again, and they'll crush UCLA, probably do the same to Northwestern, and and then they'll go to Iowa, probably win that game, and then play Ohio State 2 weeks later, and we'll see some other heart-wrenching story similar to this one, and it'll gut punch fans and the coaching staff and the players. Like, I talked to Dennis Sutton tonight. I was there for his entire post-game media scrum, and like, you could just hear, like, at first he's like, you can hear he's disappointed, but he's, there's a little bit of like, he's not laughing, but like, can talk in a jokey manner about like the holds that went uncalled and whatever. But you could hear, as he got asked about like the emotions of it, like the weight of it started to get to him, right? Like, he wasn't angry or anything. You could just hear the sadness in his voice kind of growing as he spoke with us. And it's just like, you just feel bad. That's it. Like, you just like someone like Dennis Sutton, who was awesome tonight, because he's been awesome all season. He's been awesome pretty much his whole career. Did everything he could, had that pick, almost ran it back, like, right in the second overtime, in a way that, like, that would have, had they scored, if he runs it back and they then score a touchdown, that game is over. Like, that's it. You know what I mean? Like, he could have set them up in a great spot, and he did everything he could, and instead he's sitting in the same spot that he always is after a game like this, because they all are.
Yeah, and you feel for everyone on this one, because how much time and energy everybody puts into this, right? And James Franklin said, like, he took full responsibility for it and said, like, I wanted this for those guys in that locker room, and you want it for a fan base that shows up week in, week out. I was over at game day Saturday morning, and like, just awesome atmosphere. The town is jam-packed, and you'll see it. Well, I say tomorrow, but today, Sunday, as we record, you'll see it. I mean, yes, the sun will come up on Sunday, but man, people will be dejected, and they will feel it, and they will roll out of town, and maybe, hopefully, listen to the Nittany Dispatch on their way back to wherever they're headed tomorrow, and safe trips. But you just have to think, like, at some point they have to win one of these, right? Like, isn't there
the law of averages says at some point that they will figure it out, and one of these will go in their direction,
right? Like,
it did in 2016. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
gosh, almost a decade ago. Like, I genuinely feel for everyone who keeps signing up for this, and I get it. That's what fans are. You're fanatical about it. You keep thinking it's going to go another way. You have every right to think that it should go another way. This is still a really talented team. You look at it on paper, there's talent. The receiving core is better than it's been. The defense is elite. You still have plenty of opportunities ahead of you. Yes, it's Ohio State. Yes, it's on the road. Yes, that's a nightmare matchup for Penn State for 1,000,001 reasons. I'll find a second silver lining here because I'm trying to be nice.
Oh boy.
Penn State, despite mostly not getting the job done, historically has matched up well against Ohio State, even when they shouldn't have, even years they were clearly overmatched. So I'll throw that one out there, John.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I mean,
it's little silver linings. I'm trying to help.
Great. As everyone watching this knows, it's going to be close, and they're going to get their hearts broken a different way. That's what you're saying.
Well,
like, it's going to be
no,
close
that's not what I'm saying.
and...
Law of averages, right? At some point.
And honestly, if they go and win that game, like, it would be enormous, right? There's so much weight on that game now. Who knows? Maybe they play more carefree because all right, well, we already blew the one against Oregon. What's the worst thing that can happen? You know what I mean? I don't know. Like,
they needed this to happen.
I'm still searching for the silver line, quite frankly. I think that might be a good place to leave it, though. It is almost 2:30. I have to get up and rewatch this game tomorrow and watch the All 22 and write about it. You can find that at centerdaily.com, my Good, Bad, Ugly column that I write after every game. And you can find my story post-game tonight on centerdaily.com, which you can find also on social media that I'll tweet. You can find at John Sauber on Twitter. That's JONSAUBER. And if you search John Sauber on Blue Sky, you can find Audrey, all of her work. And I can highly recommend you subscribe to Inside the Lions at insidethelions.substack.com. You can find her on Twitter at OddSnyder4. And if you search Audrey Snyder on Blue Sky, you can find her there as well. We'll be back Tuesday night, live, like we always are.
7 p.m. Let's
7
go.
p.m. And then we'll be back again in Los Angeles on Saturday, probably after a Penn State win. And we hope you continue following along, as devastating as I'm sure this night was. It is as James mentions all the time, the season's not over. Like, all of their goals are still in front of them, as painful as it is. It may seem less likely, and I would agree that it is less likely now than it was 8 hours ago. It is still out in front of them. So it can still be had. Who knows? Things can change. It is football. Things get weird all the time. We appreciate everyone tuning in. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and the subscribe button down below, as I stumble over every word as I get increasingly tired.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you. It's bad. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts after the fact, after we are live, feel free to leave those 5-star ratings and reviews. Those really help us out. We really appreciate it. We appreciate everyone in the chat, as always, when we go live. It's a lot of fun for us. We try and read as much as we can. Sometimes, it's tough post-game to get to some of the comments, but we appreciate everyone's kind words in there. And we'll try to get to some comments on Tuesday. I think that could be potentially therapeutic for people as they work through it. And we kind of talk about maybe more of the finite details, the X's and O's of what went wrong, as we usually do on Tuesdays, and what James said on Monday. So we will be back Tuesday on YouTube at 7 p.m. and then not long after that in all of your podcast feeds. Until then, thank you for tuning in. Have a great day.